Hey, I'm Todd, crowd psychologist, volume negotiator, and master of pretending not to hear song requests. I've been doing gigs since people used to book you from the yellow pages, and I'm still doing it full time. This channel's where I show you how to stay relevant, get work, and not rely on your nephew to set up your PA. I've made all the mistakes I'm about to talk about, repeatedly. So this isn't theory, this is field-tested, gig-hardened advice from someone who's sweated through a suit in summer and survived more Sweet Caroline requests than should be legal in a single lifetime. These 5 mistakes aren't the obvious train wrecks, they're just the slow burns. The subtle habits that quietly kill your momentum, your crowd connection, and your chances of getting rebooked. So, let's get into it. 5 things you should never do on stage, even if you think you're nailing it. There's no shortage of advice on what you should do on stage. Smile more, interact with the crowd, try not to loop your sadness in 4-bar sections. You've heard it, you've probably done it. But today's not about that. Today's about the subtle traps, the things that you might not realise you're doing that are slowly, quietly sabotaging your set. Not the obvious sins like forgetting the lyrics of Wonderwall or knocking over your mic stand while you're trying to look like John Mayer. No, these are sneakier. These are the gig killers that wear a disguise. Some of them even feel like you're being professional or charming or just being real. But trust me, they're not helping. So here are 5 things you should never do on stage, the subtle edition. If you've been playing for years, you might recognise 1 or 2. If you're just starting out, well, congrats. You'll get to skip a few years of cringy self-awareness. Let's dive in. Mistake number 1, acting like the crowd owes you. There's this unspoken shift that can happen even after you've played a few solid gigs. You get booked regularly, maybe even a few fans who come back. You start thinking, hey, I've paid my dues. I've done the hours. Surely now people should respect me, right? Wrong. Every gig, no matter how experienced you are, starts at 0, a bagel. With all due respect, and myself included, you're not walking into a stadium. You're walking into a function room with mood lighting and a confused toddler. The truth is, outside a ticketed show where they come specifically to see you, you're the background noise until proven otherwise. That Friday night didn't promise you eye contact. The couple at the front table didn't agree to clap. They came to eat steak, argue about Netflix, and scroll through Facebook Marketplace. The job, your job, is to earn their attention every single time. You might be 30 years deep in your career with a handcrafted pedal board and a lighting rig that could bloody land planes. Doesn't matter. And here's the kicker. The more entitled you seem, the less they give you. It's like turning up to a first date and demanding attention because you showered. And look, I get it. Your last gig might have been epic. The crowd was into it, you nailed every transition. Someone even asked for your Instagram. But you can't drag that energy into the next gig like it's a guarantee. That was then, this is now. Every crowd is a reset. And if you walk in thinking you're owed the same response again, your ego is going to start making promises your sets can't keep. Confidence is great, but entitlement, that's the quickest way to flatten a room before you've even hit the first chorus. So park the ego, stay sharp, and remember, the best gig is always the next one, if you earn it. Like if you've ever opened up a song just to warm up your hands, subscribe if you've regretted that decision 30 seconds later. Mistake number 2, playing the same set list no matter what. Now look, I get it, your set list is tight, you've rehearsed the transitions, the backing tracks are dialed in, the key works for your voice, and you've finally figured out how to loop Knock It on Heaven's Door without it sounding like a tumble dryer full of forks. But here's the issue, not every crowd is the same. Playing the exact songs in the same order, regardless of the venue or audience, is like wearing a 3-piece suit to the beach because it worked well at a wedding once. You walk into a cafe gig on a Sunday morning and hit them with bloody Foo Fighters and suddenly people are choking on their flat whites. Or you're at a family-friendly venue and you open with Sex on Fire while toddlers are bouncing on beanbags. Bold move, weird flex. Having reliable tunes is smart, but if your set list has been laminated since 2011, it might be time for a rethink. Watch the room, adjust on the fly. If your vibe is chill, go mellow. If they're rowdy, lean into the sing-alongs. I mean, I've said that in other videos, but reminding you locks it in, right? This isn't about giving up your soul. It's about not force-feeding blues to a brunch crowd chewing avocado toast. Mistake number 3, laughing at your own mistakes too much. Okay, yes, making a mistake on stage can be funny. You hit the wrong chord, your capo's in the wrong spot, done that, your brain temporarily unstalls the chorus you've sung 200 times. You laugh, the crowd laughs. Great. Human moment. We love that. But when every song turns into a stand-up routine about how much you're messing up, we've entered dangerous territory. It goes from charming to concerning. People start glancing at each other like, wait, is this supposed to be happening? The illusion of competence, gone. The momentum of the set, sliced. The audience, they're starting to think you won this gig in a raffle. There's a difference between having a light moment and becoming the punchline, especially if you follow every mistake with a lengthy explanation. Sorry, I usually play this one on my other guitar, or I left the tuner in the car, or I was up all night with the dog. Just stop, smile, recover, and move on. Half the time they didn't notice until you bloody broadcast it like a Netflix special. Just remember, if the audience is cringing more than chuckling, it's time to rehearse, not riff on your own train wreck. Being solid in your repertoire is the baseline, non-negotiable. You can't shortcut it, skip it, or talk your way around it, so get to work. Look, if you're not gigging regularly, practice is your job, all right? Full stop. But once you are gigging, the shows become the practice, the repetition, the muscle memory, the flow. It all sharpens on stage. And eventually you won't even need to pick up the guitar at home at all. And I know a lot of you watching are already living proof of that. Back me up. Mistake number 4, talking more than you're playing. This one creeps in slow. You start with a quick comment between songs, maybe a birthday shout out or a joke about the weather. Next gig, you expand a bit, tell a funny story, the crowd chuckles, dopamine hits, you feel good, you feel funny, then boom, within a few weeks you've become your own warm-up act. There's now a 5-minute monologue between every track. You're doing callback jokes to things you said earlier in the set. You've got origin stories of your capo, philosophical musings on string gauge, a solid 2 minutes about the song that made you pick up the guitar, tragically told to an audience that didn't ask. Look, talking to the crowd is great, engaging is vital, like I always say. But there's a threshold, and once you cross it, you're not gigging anymore, you're just rambling near a mic stand with a guitar strapped on for credibility. And worse, it slows the energy. It creates those long, awkward valleys where people forget they're at a music gig. Suddenly the staff are clearing plates, someone starts a conversation, a toddler's climbing the stage, and you're still talking about the first time you saw a Fender Strat. Save the deep thoughts for the car ride home. Right now they want music. Maybe wedges. Mistake number 5, taking breaks that feel like sabbaticals. Ah yes, the break. Sacred, necessary, and easily abused. We've all seen it or done it. I know I have. You finish the first set, go grab a drink, someone stops you for a chat, you check your phone, the bar staff ask about your gear. Suddenly it's 45 minutes later and people are checking their watches like they're waiting for a delayed bus. Momentum is everything at a gig. Once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. The longer it is, the harder it is to reset the mood. People assume it's over. They leave, they disengage. You come back from your break and some guys hijack the Bluetooth. The room's now a bloody makeshift nightclub and you're expected to follow it up with thinking out loud. Best of luck, soldier. You take a break, have a drink, check your pedal board, but for gig's sake, set a timer. 20 minutes max. If your absence gets more attention than your second set, you've accidentally auditioned for a shorter career. So there you have it. 5 more ways to quietly unravel your own gig without realising it. They won't get you banned from the venue. They'll keep you from getting rebooked. Or worse, make the audience remember the awkward parts from the good ones. And look, if you've done any of these recently, don't stress. So have I. We're all a work in progress. The point is you've got to notice it, fix it, and move on. That's what makes you a pro. See you in the next one. Unless I get distracted mid-break again and end up recording the whole video on what not to say to the bar staff.